afternoon, everyone. Shrikant left off on the presentation by saying as part of UID, they are creating a honeypot, and that's a very understatement. I think the kind of database that is being created, that would definitely be attracting a lot of interest from valid as well as invalid access points, and they do have a unenviable job at hand in terms of ensuring that that data is secure from various touch points. And I have looked at some of the documents that are already in the public domain in terms of approach paper. The good news is that they are on the right track in terms of looking at the security from a data-centric viewpoint rather than just the network or periphery standpoint. While preparing for this talk, I was going over in my mind, and of course I would rather be focusing at things that you can take away as a point of discussion back, rather than giving any solutions. But really, truly, if I look at 10-15 years back of my own life and see how this whole e-governance plan has helped me as a citizen, it is very clear that there are few touch points that I can really look at. And of course, UID is going to only add to that, but really looking at things like banking, MCA 21, income tax filing, and passport. And I love passport because I have to renew my passport every 12 to 18 months with the kind of travel schedule, and I have to go through this whole exercise of having to prove myself that I am Rana Gupta, and I stayed here for 5 years. But really, if I ask myself, and I ask some of you out there, that how many times have you gone into your banking, let's say a particular bank site in order to physically withdraw the money? I have never been in the last 10 years, and I remember still 10 years back, I had to spend at least half a day every month in order to do that. And that's the kind of inclusion that is happening out there. And if I look at what has made that successful, because truly if I look at things how they are happening right now, we are using more and more internet banking, mobile banking, the electronic banking to do all kind of financial transaction, and we are really at ease in terms of doing that. And two things that make us really at ease in terms of making that happen is, one is the reliability and the other one is transparency. And as we go into UI also, I think reliability has to be a big factor out there, which has to be proven out there. And I think security, in terms of information security, played a very big role in terms of successful rollout of all these projects, where making sure that each and every transaction that is done is not only reliably delivered, but it is also traceable out there. And Bhaskar mentioned a number of times around the audit trail out there. So I think as UID rollout continues happening, they have to really do a dedicated due diligence in terms of security. And I was glad to hear from Shrikant that they have put a dedicated team around the security, which is looking into all the aspects. But some of the aspects that I can think around is, first of all, how do you ensure the security of inputs that you are taking? So a couple of points in terms of iris scan and biometric fingerprints that you have gathered from the citizens, and there is no connectivity back to the CIDR. How do you make sure that from the point the data is collected till the point it is delivered back, nobody has changed those? Forget about the uniqueness of fingerprints. Even with the fingerprints, how you make sure that the rest of the information is not changed so that it is actually benefiting a specific group out there. The other part is in terms of making sure that when all the data has already made to the database, the central database, how do you make sure that as the updates happen, the people are going to have the access to that database? Do you make sure that only the right people have the access to the database, and even if some changes are happening, you are able to trace back their changes? One of the things that we truly discuss within the security circles is that if it is on the internet, assume that anybody can access that. So how do you make sure that once your database is available for online authentication, only and only people who have the right access, they can access for the purpose of authentication. Good news is that it is not also so much complicated. Of course, with the kind of scale that Shrikant mentioned, it is anybody's guess that how it is going to pan out. But really there are few key aspects that one would think about, which is one is in terms of making sure that all the transactions and the data records are assured for integrity of data. The number two is in terms of non-repudiation of all the transactions, so that any transaction which is done by any two parties within the system, that is irrefutable. And the third one is really the privacy of information, which actually gets split into authentication as well as the encryption. I think the efforts that are already in place in terms of getting the security requirements in place, I'm sure that will get to a point where we are not only talking about the functional requirements and the operational requirements, but also the security requirements that need to be implemented, and that's going to be an opportunity for the whole nation out there. Thank you very much.